Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. So let me start today's video by speaking about two investments that I made that gave me exponential returns within a few days itself. There is a very important lesson. Please don't drop off because I'm talking about cryptos. I will also be talking about stock markets on this video. Very important lessons here. So let me speak about the assets first, then we will continue our discussion. So back in 2017, I had purchased Bitcoin when it was trading at roughly 2.5 lakh rupees. And I purchased 1.5 lakh rupee worth of Bitcoin back in 2017. It went up all the way to 12.5 lakhs, but I sold it off roughly at around 9.5, 10 lakh mark. So within a few months itself, I almost 4x'd my money. From 2018 onwards, I have been aggregating Bitcoin and I have not sold any of it. My second key investment was in a token called as BAT token, and I started taking some positions in this token from the year 2019. Why? Because there was a lot of debate that was going on around privacy, and BAT tokens seemed like a great hedge against these big tech companies that were exploiting private data of consumers. Now I have been buying BAT tokens since 2019 in small amounts, not in very big amounts, but over the years my position has become quite prominent in this. Now BAT tokens are hitting all-time highs. Of course, they have crashed because of the crypto crash as of now and even the stock market crash. But generally, they have ended up giving me good returns. Now, I'm not telling you these stories that go and invest in like Bitcoin and go and invest in like BAT tokens, etc., etc. I'm speaking about trend-based investing. That trend-based investing is very powerful. It can quadruple your money, 5 times, 6 times your money also in a very quick succession. And it also has the power to bankrupt you. There are 3 key things that we will be discussing on this video. Number 1, should you be doing trend-based investing? Number 2, how do you identify good trends both in the stock market and crypto market? I will speak about that. I will also be speaking about stock market, so stay tuned. Third, what are the 3 biggest trends that I'm very bullish about and where I'm doing trend-based investing over the coming months? So these are 3 specific points that we will cover. So let us get the video started, and let us start with something very somber. The word of the day today is somber. So let me know what does that mean by listening to the commentary of Mr. Mohinish Pabrai.
So I think in the 1920s, we had a major bubble in automobile companies. So any company with the name motor in it would go crazy. And we had hundreds of auto companies. That's because all these bubbles have a kernel of truth. And the kernel of truth at that time was that the horse is history. That was true. Then in the 1960s, early 60s, there was this tronics boom. So if you had a company with the name ended in tronics, okay, it got spectacular valuation. Then in 2000, it was .com, right? Anything.com. Again, a great kernel of truth. And now we have crypto, right? There's new coins and new currencies being created every hour.
Yes.
Right? I mean, it's a frenzy. Crypto, I think the last time I was seeing, it's the total value across all of them is more than like 3 trillion. That 3 trillion, in my opinion, will disappear to nothing.
Now, I'm a very tiny investor when it comes to giants like Mr. Mohinish Pabrai and Mr. Warren Buffett. I do not know anything in front of them. But having said this, I am also entitled to my opinion by giving some rational analysis. So essentially what Mr. Mohinish Pabrai is saying is this, that if you take a look at 20s, 60s, 2000, 2020s, there have been different types of bubbles that have formed. Back in the 20s, there was automobile bubble and a lot of companies got crushed in that bubble. Then in the 60s, there was tronics bubble. So electronics, that was up and coming space. And the companies were getting started in this and they also got crushed. Then came the .com bubble. People were raising millions just based on PPTs. Even that bubble got crushed. Then finally we have cryptos, and this bubble is also going to get crushed and the value of cryptos will become zero. Okay, now this is very worrisome. Now you will say, Akshat, you have been speaking about cryptos and other asset classes very positively, but here ACE investors are speaking against it. Now, I'm not saying anything negative, but here is a more nuanced way of understanding this story. So let me tell you a parallel story here. Now, if you consider the 20s automobile crash, there are companies like Ford, which got started in 1903, and they still exist even up until now, and they have become multi-billion-dollar enterprise. Same goes for the 60s bubble, that if you take a look at LG Electronics, it has went on to become one of the biggest electronic companies on earth. Same goes for Amazon, which came out of the 2000 dot-com crash and is now one of the biggest companies on earth. Not just one of the biggest tech companies, but literally one of the biggest companies on earth, and it's continuing to consolidate its position. So it would be unfair to call every trend a bubble. So a more nuanced understanding should look like this, that there are trends that get built all across the globe. Right from the last century, these trends have been picking up. Then these trends grow over time, and as a result, businesses see a lot of opportunity in them. So new businesses are created, and that leads to giant businesses surviving over time. So a more nuanced understanding would be this: a trend picks up, it grows with time, it finds a lot of adoption in people, it finds a lot of adoption in terms of usage of cars, electronics, .com websites, cryptos, etc. A lot of businesses are created around these spaces, but only a few survive and they become giant businesses. And if there is a way for you to identify these giant businesses, you can invest in trends and make great money. And that is the simple reality. And I have given the specific names of companies that have come out of all these specific bubbles and have went on to become multi-billion-dollar enterprises. So now comes the question that, Akshat, how do we identify these giants, and is there a way to bet on the right trends? Because even if you bet on the wrong companies here, but on the right trend, you will still end up making a lot of money. So I will share a 3-step framework for you to identify the right type of trends. So step 1 of this framework is to understand that that trend should have a massive potential. A classic example would be that in 1920s, everyone was convinced that horse carts will be replaced by automobiles. Now, is this a winning advantage for automobiles over horse cart? Do you see specific advantages of automobiles over horse cart? Is there a sustainable advantage here? The answer is yes. Very similar trend is being played out in the EV market, and we can do a similar analysis 100 years later. Do you really think that EV, electric vehicles, they are not going to replace conventional automobiles? The answer seems to be a no here. From a cost point of view and an innovation point of view, there seems to be absolutely no reason why EVs are not going to replace conventional automobiles. So the first characteristic of a great trend is that there is some real advantage and a sustainable advantage that that new thing which is coming up has over the conventional methods. The second key thing is that a trend is only powerful if there is mass adoption of that trend. A classic case in point would be the internet. The internet existed back in the 80s also. But the mass adoption of the internet started happening from almost towards the end of the 90s, when the cost of data started becoming lower. Now, if we apply this framework today, what can we learn from it? We simply need to understand where people are choosing to spend their time on. This is a very interesting chart, and I would want you to zoom in and take a look at this. What you will see is that in 2020, approximately 30-35% of our time is being spent online. Going forward in 10 years, 50 to 55% of our time is going to be spent online. That's a trend. That's an irrefutable trend where people are choosing to spend their time. So this is a great test as to where people are spending their time that leads to powerful trends. The third and final piece of this trend analysis is that that trend should be powerful enough to solve big problems. For example, if you study the world today, what is one of the biggest problems that we have from a macro level? One of the biggest problems that we have is that we will struggle with computing power. Be it cryptos, be it technology firms, be it processing of payments, be it any data-oriented field, we need to process a lot of information, and computing power is something that we need to leverage and grow at a very fast pace. Now, how do we get computing power? We do it by using machines, and artificial intelligence is going to be a game changer in this space. In case you don't know what artificial intelligence is, just imagine it to be a smart computer that learns things on its own and processes data at a faster speed. Now, here is a chart for you which indicates the growth potential in the AI industry. And as this industry evolves, you need to ask yourself the question that should you be betting on it? If the answer is that this industry is actually solving big problems and few of the biggest problems on earth, then you should be betting on this trend. So with this piece of analysis out of the way, let me start speaking about 3 biggest trends that I see. 2 are from the crypto space and 1 is from the stock market space. So let me first talk about the gaming metaverse trends. Now, I personally feel that gaming metaverse is a trend that is already picked up quite a lot and it is going to grow massive in the next 5 years. And I'm super bullish about the gaming metaverse trends. And I'm starting to take more positions in this trend. Now, why am I bullish about this gaming metaverse trend? There are a lot of indicators at play, but let me try to summarize this information for you. So, first and foremost, that gaming metaverses are solving a real problem. What is the real problem that they are solving? That right now, if you go and play God of Wars, or if you go and play any type of Web 2.0 game, there is just no way for you to convert your digital assets that you have purchased within the game back into INR or US dollar. Imagine yourself to be buying a gun on Call of Duty. What you will do? You will pay 1,000 rupees to the game and you will get a gun. Now you can just use that gun within Call of Duty and it's done. If you want to exchange it and bring that money back, you can't do it. Gaming metaverses are changing this. They are designing reward systems through NFT space. Very complex explanation. So please watch my video on metaverses here. It will give you a better understanding. But to cut the long story short, this is a real problem that gaming metaverses are solving. And the gaming community is huge. Even if you and I do not play games, this is a value add that will be appreciated deeply by the gaming communities. And therefore, there is a reason why an entire parallel economy came out of Philippines where people were making crazy amount of money just by playing Axie Infinity, which is a metaverse oriented game. So I'm quite bullish about this trend, and this theory has been backed by the fact where smart money is flowing. For example, Binance is one of the biggest blockchain networks out there, and they have started something called as initial game offerings. Look at the date of this article. This was fairly recently launched, just the end of the last year. So this IGO network might actually become a competitor to something like OpenSeas, and it powers up the entire NFT economy. Even if you don't understand these terms, do not worry too much about it. As long as you understand and believe in the gaming metaverse trend, you will get great investment opportunities. So what are 2-3 ways in which you can invest in this gaming narrative? So first and foremost, you can simply go and buy the BNB tokens. Number 2, you can go and invest in NFTs in India. Now there are a lot of gaming NFTs and you need to take a look at the projects which will give you some real value add. In India, I have invested in a company called as Totality Corp, and they are creating a gaming metaverse called as Zionverse. I will put the links in the description box. You can go and check it out. The product is being received really well across the gaming community. And you can check whenever they are launching their next NFT, you can try to take some positions in it. Also, very quick disclaimer, this is not an investment advice. Please do it at your own behest. Please read the entire light paper / white paper. And then only if it makes sense to you, then go and invest. This is not a push from my side to make you invest in something. I'm just telling you all available options. Third and finally, you can buy certain pieces of land on platforms like OpenSea.io. There you will get access to other forms of digital asset that are tied into the gaming metaverse. So these are your 3 investment options. Let's move on to trend number 2. Trend number 2 is about niche tech stocks. Now let me explain this story through using examples. For example, certain things. I talked about the AI industry. There are companies like Plentier, which is an AI focused firm. So in case you are sold on that AI story and you feel that Plentier is going to be one of the biggest firms in this space, you can start taking some positions in it. Am I investing in Plentier as of now? No, because I don't understand the AI space well. I'm still reading about it. And whenever I get a better sense about the AI industry more, why Plentier might be a leading player in it, I will definitely take some positions in it. Plentier is a niche tech. There is clear need of AI industry and it will evolve. It's just a question of whether this particular company is going to do it or not. Another example that I can give you is the RPA industry, robotic process automation industry. I had made a separate video on that. Here you have companies like UiPath. I am an investor in that company. So learn about this particular trend. If you are sold on the idea that RPA is actually a beneficial trend for the world, it can add real value, pass it through that framework that I gave you earlier, and then you can start taking some positions in companies like UiPath. Similarly, I am an investor in genome editing based firms. I have bought an ETF, which I have talked about earlier. I'll make a part 2 of this video in case you need, but I am an investor in these 3 specific trends when it comes to niche technologies. Now, third and final trend in which I'm very, very bullish about is the DeFi, decentralized finance trend. Again, you have to go to the crypto market to explore DeFi. A simple way of understanding DeFi is to compare it with CeFi. Now, CeFi simply means the traditional banks. For example, when you go to HDFC Bank and ask HDFC that transfer $100 to my friend in the US, you are essentially hiring a middleman, which is the HDFC Bank, and HDFC Bank will transfer your friend $100 by bringing JP Morgan Chase into that network, and you will lose $5 in commission. In CeFi, what ends up happening is that, for example, if I have to transfer $1,000 to my friend, I will convert my US dollar into USDT, go onto the crypto network, use the Polygon chain, and I can also transfer $10,000 at just $1 commission. Is this useful for me? Absolutely. Do I do it? Absolutely. Do I save a lot of money? Absolutely. In the future, will I continue to do it? 100% yes, because it allows me to save a lot of money. And biggest banks, biggest finance firms are experimenting in this space. This is a fact. I know that there will be a lot of trollers who will keep on commenting a lot of stuff that cryptos are bad, this, that. But tell me a better utility. Tell me a way through CeFi where I don't have to pay 0.5% commission. Now this system is of real value to me, and going forward, multiple such systems are being built in the DeFi community. So how you can invest? So number one, you can invest in something like Uniswap, which is a great protocol. It is one of the biggest DeFi protocols that are out there. Second, you can purchase something like Aave, which is again a token, and by default, you will be investing in the DeFi community. And third and finally, you can invest in specific blockchains that are making these DeFi protocols faster. It could be Solana, it can be Polygon Matic. So these are some of your investment options as per the 3 specific trends that are evolving. The summary of the video is this, that trends are very powerful. They can bankrupt you also. They can make you super rich. It is okay to take at least a little bit of position in these trend-based instruments, because the trends that will survive will definitely generate massive returns for you. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please press the like button, and I will see you tomorrow.